February towards the end for most people was a complete washout. However, as we've stepped through into March, things are perking up and the weather's not too bad. We've still been able to do the few odd jobs here and there, so let's go and have a look. Going to get a bit of veg out the shed now. There's a cabbage there. As you can see, we've still got a couple of parsnips sort out here. I must say this method of storing has changed my way of thinking regarding the types I'll be growing and also the quantities and volumes, because it has really stored well. I'm not really a big fan of frozen vegetables, so this has got round it for me. It was only a matter of time before we run out of space, and that was sooner rather than later. So I've put this little Wilco pop-up greenhouse into my allotment greenhouse, and I'll be using this for putting the seedlings in, just to give them a bit of extra protection. Overnight, pretty happy. The temperature stayed in there just over 7.5, and I think we had about a 3 or 4 degree overnight. I've got the candle underneath, that's done its job. What it has done now, it's filled it full of condensation, which I expected. However, as long as that doesn't start the plants damping off, I'll be happy with that. I'm going to pull the cover down now, keep a bit of heating, because it's still cold this morning and we've got torrential rain. We've had a lot overnight and we've got flooding on the plot. This is outside the allotment greenhouse. If you look down there, there's like a moat. So the drainage is very poor here. I'm at the allotment, the outside slabs towards my plot, so I tend to get a lot of water. Now, no matter which way you turn, there's no escaping from it. See, paths are flooded up there and here as well. Hopefully when it doesn't give up, the plot will drain fairly quickly. Well, there's a high risk we may have some sunshine today. I know it comes as a bit of a shock after the last few days, the deluge of rain, but I've looked in the Vitopod this morning and potting on desperate need. I'll just show you inside now. So we've got lots of peppers and tomatoes still to sort out, so I think I'm going to spend a lot of the morning doing those. Just give you a quick update. This is the first lot I've pricked out. There's 20 Brussels sprouts there, and I'll just give them a watering from the bottom. They'll go into the Vitopod, one set at 15 degrees. I'll leave them in there for a week or so just to get the roots back established, and then I'll move them into the allotment greenhouse as well. I've had a little rethink. Because these tomatoes have gone leggy, I've decided to use the root trainers so I can plant them down really deep just below the first leaf, and that should perk them up again. A rare chance of me having a cup of tea. Usually once I get gardening I don't stop, just that my wife has kindly fetched me out a hot drink since the rains arrived again. You look at the length of that seedling and it should have been potted on quite a while ago. However, all's not lost. Just make a deep hole. Say these are your root trainers, which will allow the seedling to go down right to the bottom, and just pop the soil around it, and that will happily grow away. Here we have some tomatoes that I've just pricked out into the root trainers. They all look very, very similar, but there's 3 different varieties in there, and using the numbering system easily distinguishes the varieties. Got 22 2 rows, 21 4 rows, and 23 2 rows. Looking on the chart then, you can see that 22 is Super Mama, 21 is the Crimson Crush, and 23 is the Cocktail Crush. Because they're in the cells, I've kept them in line Any surplus there I've put in separate pots, and again the numbering system, you can immediately tell what variety they are, even though they do look very similar. The tumbling toms are a bit leggy, so I'm putting these into the root trainers. These are the slightly shallower ones, the 50 cells, 10 by 5, and I'll be putting other peppers in here as well. Well, I was having a look in the Vitopod, I noticed this chili. This one is called Armageddon, which I think is in number 2 position behind the Carolina Reaper and the Scoville rating. As you can see, something's took a like to it a bit more than I like it, I think. And I noticed some of the chilies and the capsicums have also been nibbled at, so I need to try and find out what that is and evict it. More and more people are looking for another alternative than using peat compost. A number of peat-free brands are available on the market. But I've got some dahlias here that I'm going to pot on, and I'm going to be trying this. It's a wool compost made from sheep's wool. It's from a company called Dalesfoot Composts, and this is their peat-free version. They do another one called the Clay Buster, which is ideal if you've got clay soil, a top dressing, and it feeds for I think it's 2 years. But the one we're focusing on at the moment is going to be this wool compost. We'll see how it goes. Oh, that's lovely stuff. Nice and fibrous, so it'll get plenty of air into the soil. Let's get the dahlias sorted. It's quite a fibrous compost. As I said previously, it'll allow plenty of air to the roots, that will. So just tease the plants out gently and try to get some root with them as well. So that's the dahlias pricked out using the Dalesfoot sheep's wool compost. Put them into the Vitopod. I've just popped the temperature up just slightly. I've put it up to 18 now. And in here we've still got a few capsicums, and on the end we've got the zebroon shallots just popping the lids up. We'll put the lid on now just to retain the heat because it's starting to drop cold. And guess what? It's raining again. We're back in the garden greenhouse now. It's worth noting, if you just look at this, the double Vitopod, it's got all the vents open, and you can see how clear the windows are. Whereas the single one here, I've got the vents shut at the moment just to retain heat. You can see there's quite a bit of condensation in, so that is something to bear in mind. As we enter the month of March now, I noticed appearing in the garden centres are these corms, the begonia corms. You can get the upright ones or some which will actually trail, ideal for hanging baskets, called pendula. These are the corms which you can start off now, providing we don't get a frost. If you're not familiar with the begonia corms, it's got a little depression there, and the opposite side is a convex shape, a bowl. The depression is always the top. So what you need to do is make a little hollow out in the soil. Just place it in. The soil doesn't need to go over the top, just around the edges. Make sure it makes contact all the way around. And then that's about it. They'll just wake up the cells as it gets warmer, and you'll see little shoots appearing in the top. This compost is barely moist, and I'm not going to water it at all. It's a mushroom box. I've just lined it with a bit of cardboard. What I shall be doing with this now is moving it into the greenhouse on the allotment and just putting it in the little grow tent. As long as we don't get any frost on it, they should be okay. Those of you who watched the video previously where I did the grow lights I was having a bit of trouble with in the greenhouse. It's really inconvenient of a night, it's lighting the whole area up. So I popped online to our favourite auction site and had a look for a little grow tent to pop the Vitopod in. It's only a small one, I think it's 1200 by 600 by 600, which is 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot for old money. So it goes in there, and if it's running okay, I'll probably eventually move it into the loft. There's not many items in the kit, but it's a pictorial diagram, well explained, and all the poles are numbered. So I'm just going to put this framework together and I'll bring you back. And as if by magic, there it is. Believe me, this took some assembling. The severely restricted with room in here, and the door was on its limits trying to get it through, but eventually we managed it. I've got the stuff in. I'm going to leave the Vitopod lids off and just see how the temperatures monitor with the heated base on and also the grow lights. So there we have it. I'm excited tonight to see if there's any light spillage out of it, but it should be okay. The main thing is monitoring the temperature without the lids on. If the thermostat is struggling to maintain the temperature, I'll just pop the lid on at night. So that's about it for this one. I'll see you in the next one, and bye for now.